This time, the Chair recognizes Councilwoman Reynolds Brown, who will present a resolution recognizing the service of women veterans in the United States and the extraordinary contributions of the Women's Veterans Center. Would Anna Stormer and those accompanying her please join the Councilwoman at the podium? And joining the Councilwoman, we have Councilman Greenlee, Councilman Heenan, Councilwoman Blackwell, Councilwoman Gim, and Councilman Taubenberger.
Very good.
And Councilman Green.
Good.
And Councilman Squilla.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a thrill for us as it is a first when we are recognizing the service of women veterans in the United States of America and the extraordinary contributions of the Women's Veterans Center. Whereas women have been actively serving in the United States military since the Revolutionary War. For us history buffs, I'll repeat that. Women have been actively serving in the United States military since the Revolutionary War, oftentimes disguised as men so they could serve in combat roles. The Women's Armed Services Integration Act of 1948 allowed women to serve permanently in the military rather than only during times of war. And
whereas in 1974, women were admitted to the United States Merchant Marine Academy in Kings Point. In 1976, women were first admitted to the remaining service academies, including U.S. Military Academy in West Point, U.S. Naval Academy at Annapolis, U.S. Coast Guard Academy in New London, and the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. And
whereas the USS Acadia departed for the Persian Gulf in 1990 with both men and women aboard for the first time ever in wartime. More than 41,000 women were deployed in war zones between 1991 and 1992 during the Persian Gulf War. And
whereas in 1998, female fighter pilots flew combat missions for the first time ever. Captain Kathleen McGrath became the first woman to command a U.S. Navy warship in 2000. In 2004, Colonel Linda McTague became the first female commander of a fighter squadron in the U.S. Air Force. In 2011, women deployed on a submarine for the first time. And
whereas Obama administration Defense Secretary Leon Panetta announced in 2013 that the ban on women serving in combat would be lifted. In 2015, during the first year that women were permitted on ground, Captain Kristen Griest and First Lieutenant Shay Haver became the first two women to graduate from Army Ranger School, shifting the paradigm from if women could meet the standard to now that women have met the standard. And whereas the military, influenced by the performance of women on the front lines since 9/11 and by these first women Ranger School graduates, is setting the stage for women to command young men outside the wire in infantry and armor platoons with the same risks and responsibilities as their male counterparts.
Whereas, as they transition out of the military, women now make up 10% of the veteran population. Women veterans and their accomplishments in service often go unrecognized, even though the number of women in the military continues to grow. And women continue to break barriers during and after their military service. And
whereas the transition from military life to civilian life can be difficult. More than 4 in 10 female post-9/11 veterans say their readjustment to civilian life after their military service was very or somewhat difficult. And
whereas the Veterans Multi-Service Center created the Women's Veterans Center in 2014 to address the growing and unique needs of women veterans and their families. through its mission of providing separate and communal space to heal, grow, and thrive. To date, the WVC has served over 650 women and their families. And
whereas the Women's Veterans Center is focused on creating community and strengthening one-on-one relationships through a variety of services, including assistance with immediate needs, meals, clothing, toiletry products, housing case management, benefits counseling, referrals to community partners, and a robust calendar of fellowship activities. And
whereas women of America's military, past and present, have served their nation in times of peace and war at great personal sacrifice for both themselves and their families. Women have consistently answered the call without hesitation to defend our democracy and freedom, playing a significant role in developing the extraordinarily capable military that continues to protect the foundation of our great nation. Now, therefore, be it
resolved by the Council of the City of Philadelphia that we hereby honor and recognize the service of women veterans in the United States and the extraordinary contributions of the Women's Veteran Center. Further resolved that an engrossed copy of this resolution be presented to the Women's Veteran Center as evidence of the sincere sentiments of this legislative body. Let's celebrate the Women's Veteran Center and all women who sacrifice, step up, and stand up for the land that we serve. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
And the chair recognizes Ms. Stormer for remarks.
Thank you, Council President, and thank you to this wonderful committee of all the council members for presenting us. My name is Anna Stormer, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as the coordinator for the Women's Veteran Center. The VMC and the women of the Women's Veteran Center are truly grateful for the acknowledgement of our hard work and dedication to serving those who served. In preparation of receiving this citation, I went to the experts, the women that I assist, for help with my remarks. I asked them, what would you like city officials to know about being a woman vet in Philly? Aside from they asked for forgiveness for parking tickets and help filling in potholes, overwhelmingly the group shared that time and time again, they felt that once their uniform came off, their service and sacrifices often went unnoticed. These sentiments contribute to some harrowing statistics. Female veterans have a 250% higher risk than civilian women for suicide and make up 10% of the entire homeless veteran population. This continuous and prevalent theme of invisibility is one we try hard to change at the Women's Veteran Center, and this citation and recognition goes a long way in accomplishing that goal. The VMC is beyond proud of our Women's Veteran Facility, and we look forward to reaching more women veterans and supporters as we continue to grow in the years ahead. If you'd like to learn more about the VMC and the Women's Veteran Center and contribute celebrating women veterans, please join us next week in partnership with Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds Brown, Wednesday, November 8th at the WeWork on Walnut Street. Thank you again for your continued support and celebration of women veterans and the Veterans Multi-Service Center.
I'd like to say thank you to the entire City Council for honoring women who served in the United States Army. As a veteran, yes, for me, it was quite a transition from being a soldier into the civilian sector. And as Anna stated, a high percentage of women do experience homelessness after leaving and making that transition. I was one that was too proud to go to my mother and father and tell them what my experiences was, so I experienced homelessness myself for 7 months while being a student at Temple University. So on behalf of all of the current soldiers that are serving around the country and around the world, and of course for those women who have made the ultimate sacrifice with their life, I thank you all.
Councilor Bediz.